invincible. Back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all invited to go fucking mental on this motherfucking drop. The countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go.
Now we're back from the dead. We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
Back. Now we're back from the dead.
Are you ready? Let's go. Back from the dead.
We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead. Back from the dead. Back from the dead.
like a Hellcat. Coming like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat. Coming like a hell. Like a Hellcat.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I give you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. I'm alone, I'm a broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own and know. I'm letting go, I'm breaking these walls down, breaking these walls down. If you want adventure, then fly to home. But if you wanna travel, then go alone. Yeah, what's the point in us if I never know? Yeah, if you're gonna leave, I'ma let you go. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of yesterday. Fada, fada. I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, it's time to get back up. Climbing and climbing, I'm done with this ride, is what I tell myself, so I could feel something else. Yeah, I guess I had my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost my style. Darling, where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time starts down, a king without his crown. Now I'm breaking and you're faking, girl. You never made a sound. Oh, wait, I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of yesterday. Fada, fada. smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 I'm safe and take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Make that beat.
Welcome in here, ladies and gentlemen, an Apac main event. This is what we've been working for, been waiting for, Orbital. We saw this team last week. Unfortunately, today we have to wait a little longer to watch Godspeed play, but how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Very excited to be here. Very excited to get underway. And yeah, it hurts a little bit, but it just goes to show that the gods command a little bit too much respect, and they speed their way through their opening match. I think it's very fitting for the name and for how they're progressing through the GSL Day 3 here with the Boston Apac.
Well, for all you guys at home asking, what's going on today? Well, we had a game against Retirement Home to start things off, but unfortunately for Retirement Home, couldn't come out of the home there. No one to check them out, so they will be staying inside here tonight. We get an FF, a DQ to start the day off, and, Orbital, that's kind of how you want to go with some momentum, but, the Godspeed boys, they play one less game here today, so the second match of the day is kind of going to be their warm-up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because all they need are 2 wins technically to make it on through. If they win this next match, it'll technically be their second, which that'll be the winner of Sailing Esports versus Kanoko Soup. If you remember from last week, Godspeed actually faced off against Kanoko Soup and beat them 3-0. It was a little bit of a tight race in the games itself, but there's a possibility there. Sailing Esports, though, another lauded team that came out of, I believe, Pool 1 of the group stage, where they actually, or the Swiss bracket, where they went 3-1 in their series. So another very top-tier competitive team that a lot of people are expecting to move on to this winner semifinals here today.
Well, once you get into the main event, everybody's good. This is where either you put up or you get out of the way. And I think for everyone tonight, just coming into your first series, seeing some positivity go your way can really be great for the mental. But, like you mentioned, you lose a game, it's not the end of the world. You go into that lower bracket and you have to fight from there, trying to make it into tomorrow. And, little interesting fact, Apac, we finally got a mainstream here. 1NE, Gex on that side will be hosting that. So, tomorrow, make sure to tune in there. But, for Godspeed, they're saying, hey, tune into our mainstream tonight. Unfortunately, have to wait a little longer. When you look at this bracket, Project De La Cruz on the upper portion here in pool number 1, they're looking to coast on through, find their way. That was the number 1 team in APAC last Open, and they're looking to re-put themselves into that title spot. But, overlooked. That's a team who we saw ourselves kind of talking about last weekend, who found themselves here, a really good squad, who took some lumps, but they got it done. That's what all that matters once you get into a main event. Goblin Barrel versus Big Dogs, two teams that I feel is going to be one of the most even matchups out of this entire bracket. My money's still on Goblin Barrel. I love what that team makeup looks like. They look great against us last week. Godspeed just had that a little extra, but when you look at a main event, when you look at the lights, when they look at it, how bright they can be, we were talking a lot last week on a Rigorous coming into Godspeed as that new third, had Kakamame in open number 1, but Rigorous, he fit right in to what this team was trying to develop.
Yeah, I think he was a big reason why actually Godspeed actually went 3-0 in the series score. I believe in Series 2, it was where we were getting a little bit worried they weren't up to speed as quickly as we would like, and Rigorous actually pulled them in that game too and just kind of dragged them across and said, hey, let's get this win, let's get this dub, and they went pretty hard on it. So I will give credit, Rigorous really stepped up to that kind of front runner, that star power moment that allowed everyone else to kind of step in as well. You look at Finchie as well as Echo, these two rounded out alongside. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Sianga, but Sianga might be making an appearance here when we get to the hybrid elimination. I do agree, Rigorous really stepped in, but now it doesn't matter what happened in the Swiss bracket. Now it is that group stage. Now it is very important to get even better wins. It doesn't matter if you win by a 3-0 or a 3-1 or 3-2. You need those wins. You cannot let up off the gas.
Well, you might be asking, well, if going through the upper portion, what do you get? Well, you get 2 lives into tomorrow's playoffs. You want to allow yourself to get that upper bracket just to be able to have a bit of a safety net. You don't want to go through lures where you're saying, boy, we have to fight all the way through, whacked up to the top. But I think that's kind of where the added pressure comes in. Sailing Esports, Kanoko Soup. Everyone's saying Sailing Esports has the juice. A lot of people feel that's going to be the team to really see themselves go through. A lot of predictions had them there, but Kanoko Soup, that's a team who we felt that they were just a couple of steps short from being great. It's a good team. They're looking to make that hump to become a great team. In your experience over just the landscape of esports, what's the main deciding factor for great squads?
Great squads when it comes to Rocket League, especially coming into this, seeing as a I would say less favorable. Obviously, you were talking about sailing esports. I would say never let it get to you. Whenever it comes to Rocket League, a lot of it does rely on pacing and starting things off on the right foot. You miss a kickoff, you let it go through, and it can really break the mental like extremely quickly. We've seen a very narrow goal make it a very elongated battle where you're looking at almost like a 4-0, 5-0 position because you just let the opponent get ahead of you. I think for Kanoko Soup, it is take it one at a time. If I remember correctly from when we first watched them play, they came out of the gate very, very hot, but it was a little bit sloppy. They were relying a little bit more on quantity of goals, which did not allow them to actually convert, which allowed Godspeed to actually catch up to the speed that they were playing. So for me, when I look at Kanoko Soup, I want to see them play smoothly from the onset. If they are going to beat Sailing Esports, very specifically another team, as we said, that is very hardened, very battle worn, you need to play a very consistent game 1 to game 5, which I would assume at least it goes 4. I really do hope Kanoko Soup are able to put up a fight. I'm still leaning into Sailing Esports, but I think it's going to be a little bit close.
Well, you see who Sailing Esports lost to during that qualifier.
True.
Project de la Cruz. That's the number one seed. That's the one where you're saying, boys, you lost the number one seed. You don't put your head down there. You say, all right, we got 0-3 there. We just have to continue working, but we got to see what the best looks like. They won every single game besides that, and they took down some big dogs, and big dogs were one of the teams that they saw beating. But I'm looking for Sailing Esports. They have a lot of talent on that team, a lot of experience, and I feel experience is exactly what you need when you're trying to make a big run in things. You have to be able to say this moment doesn't affect us. We know where we want to go, and that's continue to be up. But first off is, can you get through the first round? In your experience, how big is that just to be able to get a couple wins, see yourself in that second game after what potentially would have been a great victory?
If we're talking about getting in, if we're talking about, are you talking about getting into the second game of the series, or are you talking about getting into
Yeah.
the second series itself?
Second series itself.
Second series of itself. Well, okay, so that's the good news. That's actually why I wanted to bring it up. So, second game of a series, obviously, you're always going to get there. It's just how rough is it going to be getting there? But getting to the second series of the day, I think when it comes to these GSLs, it's actually a little less burden on the early onset. Now, of course, nobody wants to lose, but I will say on one end, it doesn't feel as bad. You do have a second chance at the lower bracket, just means you have to win more games, right? That's the unfortunate part. When we look down there, if you lose this opening matchup, you do get put down into the lower bracket where you have another redemption chance. You still have to win 2 games. So there are small situations like that. The problem that comes from that is then there's a lot more weight on you. If you already played for a full week, you don't really want to fall down there, so it's an offset. For good teams, it's a walk in the park. No matter what, every series is a series. You never really worry about it. You just play your game, don't let it affect you, and you get 2 wins. With some of these newer teams that are coming in, I do expect them to flub a little bit, and you see their game style change. Either they start playing a lot more defensive, and they start playing a lot more safe, or they go kind of ham. They just go crazy. They say, okay, put a lot of just don't worry about safety, play smart, play like how you want, and play aggressive. So what I look for when it comes to if you're making a lower bracket run is a type of refined desperation. I want to know that you still want to win, that you haven't given up, even facing off against the likes of Project de la Cruz or Sailing Esports or anything like that, and saying we can still make our way in, we can still take 2 victories on the day.
Oh, what are these teams playing for? Well, let's have a quick look at that prize pool. And the prize pool, this is what everybody always wants to talk about. What's the cheddar look like? First place, 6.6K. And that's right there. That can get me up in the morning, Orbital. That's when we're saying, wait, we got some Rocket League today. Let's get ourselves going. Second place, a bit over 3,000, 3.6K. And third and fourth, $2,400. That's some big change into the pockets. 5th through 6th, 1.65K. 7th through 8th, 1.2K. And 9th through 12th, over $1,000 there. And it continues on going. Almost everybody gets a portion. I believe with the way Rocket League has been formatting, all the way up into the 32nd place, you see a prize pool. But top 12, that is where the big money is. You want to see yourself find a way to get into this portion. But how big is that incentive here, Orbital, to try to get yourself a bit of change in your pocket?
It's a little bit too much. I think you get to see a lot of people really come out. You get to see some of the top dogs. And for those that are entering in, it does feel like a massive wall. But at the end of the day, it does make you want to play harder. I will always say money makes the world go around, and esports is no different. So might as well play your heart out. It doesn't matter if you feel like you can't win. You gotta find a way to win. And everyone here that made it to the Boston APAC Open, like, we give credit where credit is due. They made it through the gauntlet, at least a gauntlet, to get here. So I appreciate it.
Well, you said you have to find a way to get those wins. That's what we saw from Godspeed. We felt in that qualifier, they weren't playing their best qualifier. There were games where we're saying, this team still has a step or two in them. We see it there slowly emerging, and you don't want to peak too early. You want to find your stride to really see that momentum build up as things go on. But that's something that's a positive here, knowing that there's still so much potential, so much ceiling left for this team.
Yeah, I do expect them to still become a cohesive unit. One of the things I talked about when we saw them in Series 3 is we saw them really look to start to become a little bit more cohesive. We saw a lot more of the passing plays. We saw a lot more of the coordination that we were hoping for, whereas the earlier series were much more individualistic. Not that that's a bad thing, but it did feel like they were ripping one-offs. It felt more like you were doing a 1-2, a slight pass off the backboard, nothing too exceptional. Once we started to see the full field passes, the full field plays, even demos to body block to create space in the mid, that's where I start to get very excited for this team, because you start seeing the variety of plays come through. When it's very stalwart, when it's just a 1-2, it's very obvious. A lot of teams are going to pick you apart at the higher levels. So when we got to that third series, I was very excited. You saw the inklings, you saw the playbook come together. And I feel like for Godspeed, I don't like that they had a DQ here. I don't think anyone likes to get through on a DQ, but a win's a win. I feel like I do want to see them really come through on the second series and be able to put it away.
Well, this is where this team, I feel, this is the bumps and bruises of a new squad. You go into scrims, like we mentioned, you see yourselves kind of practicing on your off time, but nothing beats live competition, especially when the fans are watching at home. There's that little extra there, but that's what makes these pros, is the ability to see those lights and say, hey, I got my sunnies on. I got my glasses. I have no need to look into the light here. I'm looking straight on. But, for Godspeed, Rigorous found himself, like we mentioned, with some big goals. I love the way we saw the connection for him and Echo. We saw that passing plays, a little 1-2 dynamic, allowing Fincy to come in as that third role. Had some great passes for himself as well as some great shots. We saw him. Big defensive save from him last week, goes right back onto the offensive, sees a huge goal there. So it's kind of saying, boys, we're fluid here. We can always take the reins if we need to, and that's one thing I like seeing. It was the confidence in each other. It seems that this team is has the ability to just say, hey, I trust my teammates, and that right there is by far one of the biggest buffs you can ask for, is knowing the guy next to you is putting as much effort as you are.
Yeah, well, at the same time, we want to make sure that they're not getting in front of each other as well. This is a team that has a lot of stars and has the power to all be strikers, to all be forwards, to all score those goals. And you have to recognize who's giving and who's taking. That's kind of the way it goes. So I do want to see them not only play as a star, but also play as that glue that makes the entire thing work. Like you called it, very, very fluid. And I want to see them play well on the upcoming series.
Well, the upcoming series still some time away, ladies and gentlemen. Looking around the gauntlet, the way things have been looking so far. Project De La Cruz currently 2-0 against Overlook. Big Dogs currently beating Goblin Barrel 2-1, and no report yet on the Salem Esports versus Kanoko Soup. So, still some time to go. But, who's on the other side of the bracket? We got Kino Troop. That right there is where they saw us in our pool. We didn't see them through main event, but now they're on the other side. That's a scary team. A lot of people are looking at that squad to really be one of the best teams here in APAC. We also see Ground Zero on that side, Bear Claw Gaming, J Chicken Esports, which, I think one of my favorite names this series, this APAC Open so far. But, Orbital, the only negative about today is that we still have to wait.
Yeah, we really, really do, and I think for the players, I'm sure they're warming up in their own, whether going through the scrim rooms or anything like that. Take their time, warm up, get the wheels hot, and everything like that. I expect them to come into this fairly well, or maybe if you can scout out, see where Sailing Esports and Kanoko Soup are currently playing, maybe get some info there. But it's not the worst in the world. Give yourselves a break, maybe go get some coffee if you need it or anything like that.
Well, you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break. You take a break. Go get some coffee. I got my cup right here. Might have to get a refill. But we'll be right back. Hopefully with some more Godspeed Rocket League here on the Godspeed Twitch channel. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that intro, because the introduction of tonight's still waiting on In Here Orbital. The first match against Sailing Esports. Saw ourselves get a DQ early on, but the Rocket League action, it's finally here.
Yep, we are excited to go ahead and get rolling on this one. And I know the teams are as well. Sailing Esports took a little bit longer than we expected. You were hyping them up, and I turned around and said, hey, Kanoko Soup has a chance. They put up a fight. The series was 3-2, I believe, the longest in the winners quarterfinal setups in either Pool 1 or Pool 2. So definitely a hard-fought battle. I'm very curious to see how we're looking at Sailing Esports, seeing if they are up to the task. Maybe they started off a little bit slower, and see if they're able to kind of get it together for this upcoming series.
Well, it wasn't smooth sailing, but they got through the rough waters, and that's what we talked about it in our pre-show. Good team, great teams know how to get it done, and they got it done. And that's one where we saw Kanoko Soup. That's a great team. That's a team that we were saying that they're 1 or 2 steps away from getting there. They proved it once again. Going 5 games in a series, that's where you're not saying it's a tough one to swallow, but one you're kind of just saying we went the distance. Our first series again, we're gonna go through lowers, but now this is where it is. Godspeed. 1 game away into making it tomorrow. This team right now currently on ice waiting. They have just been warming up, trying to get themselves going. But any predictions? How are we feeling right now for this series?
Okay. I know I predicted a little bit longer one for Sailing Esports versus Kanoko Soup. I'm predicting a 3-1. And I think that's because Godspeed, they're going to come out again. It's going to be very tight games once again, but I think they're going to do very well. I think Sailing Esports will bounce back closer towards that mid-series aspect. But I am predicting that Godspeed have it under control. They're coming into this fresh. They don't have to worry about any past mistakes or anything like that. It's a straight up start clean, get that victory, end the day on a very quick note. Maybe a hiccup along the way, but that should be it.
And that's where you're hoping. You never want things to come too easy for you. You want to be able to go out there and be like, all right, we got our feet wet. We got ourselves going. And I think that's a great prediction, 3-1. I know for this team, that's a scoreline you can live with. And you have to come in here game number 1. You mentioned close games. That's probably going to be one of the closest. We always see game 1s really going into maybe a 3-2 game. Maybe we see going to OT. But I think for Godspeed, OT right now is not where you want to be, especially early on in the series. I want to see how Sailing Esports looks early on before we start going to those treacherous waters. but I feel Godspeed, they have the juice. This is a team that just needs a little spark, and once they get that spark, they just catch fire. But who's going to step up today? We had Rigorous on the docket, saw how great offensively. Echo did amazing. Fincy just fell into that role. It seems this team is starting to click a little bit, but ladies and gentlemen, the action is right about to get going. The predictions soon to be all the way up. And we're on the Godspeed channel. I'm going to put all my money. I'm hammering Godspeed right now.
Do it. Go ahead and get those predictions in as quickly as possible and see if, of course, we make it into that day number 4 and 5. Now, of course, remember, for today, if the matches won here, if Godspeed go ahead and beat Sailing Esports, that will be it. That will be the end of today's aspect because it was only the intro, it was only the GSL. But if they lose, then we get more Rocket League. So keep that in mind as well. If we lose here, you get one more series. Maybe you get a bank on that as well. Maybe you want to bet on Sailing Esports if you want to see the boys fight a little bit harder throughout the day.
I know you have work in a couple hours, Orbital. So
don't remind me. Don't remind me. Listen, I'm sitting here like.
All
right, so the story to this is I did not read my contract and I didn't realize I was going to be here on Friday night. I thought this was Saturday. This was my bad. I'm still excited to be here. I'm just saying.
Well, all we can say is welcome to Apac. I know you say you haven't done too much Apac, but I always say Thursday nights just to not confuse myself. Everyone says it's past midnight. Doesn't matter. I wake up, then it's a new day. I'm still up for this one, but game number 1 in the coming into it. Godspeed, Sailing Esports trying to find themselves with a big win here to start things off. And, looking at game number 1, who needs this win more here, Orbital?
I think Sailing Esports, whenever you come out of a 3-2, that not only is a very big game, but also a tough one against Kanoko Soup, a team that is not really well known. It's a tough one. You don't want to go down like that. You were really more expecting a 3-1, a 3-0 or something like that to be put on the backboard, which I'm also assuming there were OTs. It would make me worried. For Sailing Esports, you really need this game 1 to get off on the right foot, and it looks like you're going to start really dang quickly as that's Dot to start things off with a goal.
Well, that's where this team wanted to come in with, and for Godspeed, still trying to feed themselves, get their feet under them. But Rigorous, unfortunately, at the goal line, will not be able to award the first one on. And first goal, that's exactly where you want to start off. You're saying Sailing Esports needs some confidence, and that's where you're saying, hey, we got the lead now. This early, it's gonna be up to the Godspeed boys to try to retaliate. As Rigorous trying to put this down, no one in the vicinity will allow Echo try to move things across. And this one will just right in front of the net. Fincy reacting quickly.
It's a very, very smooth goal as well. Take a look at this. Fincy saw the ball go. High grade stall out by Echo. Said, okay, I don't need a fully challenge. And immediately falls back to give space. Really, really well done. It wasn't a fast goal. It was a smooth transition, which is what you really like. 50-50 though on that ball on the kickoff. And it's ready to score it away.
And this is where things are getting tricky. We know quick goals come in, and right off a kickoff, you're hoping to at least have that equalizer a little longer. But what a job for Sailing Esports taking it away quick.
Very smooth, and this time the ball skitters off to the right side. It's a little bit rough point for Sailing Esports. You're really happy. Godspeed, though. You're going to power down that midfield and flip it over. One! And you put it right past Dot. Man, I thought this was going to be slow. I thought this was going to be calculated. I thought this was going to be more desperate, but this is just open nets on either end of the field.
Well, this is where Fincy just showing off his offensive prowess. He saw himself not take a back seat, but kind of let the other two take full helm during the qualifier, and that may have just been one of those where I'm just going to confuse him. I'm going to save my potential for main event, but with these two, we can go a long way. Off the backboard, won't see too much. Godspeed trying to work quickly as the first 60 seconds finally off the board.
And I feel like this is actually really, really good for Godspeed being able to answer back so quickly. We mentioned the fact that for Sailing Esports, a lot of these goals came at a little bit awkward time as it came through, and it just felt so sudden that it surprised Godspeed to be able to get back in and score these in under 10, 20 seconds to match. Still feels like an even pace. It doesn't feel like things are out of control just yet. I like it.
And this is where, for Godspeed, find a way to take a lead, get some momentum now. The one thing you're doing is you're battling Sailing Esports so well. Beautiful save there by Echo, but not out of the woodworks yet. No boost and a dream. Just trying to see if he can give this off to a teammate. Ray will just take this away as the pinch will just put it right back onto the Godspeed half.
And at this pace, you go ahead and say, okay, look, we had a very fast pace earlier, but we're at net zero. We don't have to force anything. Let's see if we can pull apart Sailing Esports defense. Is it mostly offense? Are we mostly allowing them to just take multiple shots? That's the way as Mohaned was able to get a bump on the back end, force Godspeed out of defense, and scores their third.
Well, you know, if you can't go around them, just go through them. That's a great job of just being able to work off ball. We're seeing some quick goals. This is where we felt this game may have been in this turning portion. But Sailing Esports saying we came off of game 5. We're feeling hot. We're feeling ready. And we're pushing the tempo.
Only question is how fast is too fast here? When you start moving a little bit faster, when you start assuming you can always get a shot, that's where you leave your net a little bit more open for the opponent to take advantage of. That's where I start to get worried. That's where I start to say, okay, you got to reel it back. But for the moment, Sailing Esports are doing well. Reaching into the second half, it's tight series so far, tight game. Ball landed a little bit awkwardly, though. Opened it up for Mohaned to take yet another opportunistic goal.
You can kind of tell right now, Godspeed, they're trying to work up to the pace. I think, like we mentioned, not playing that first series of the day may have just prolonged that ability to just get comfortable into this one. Godspeed right now, down 2 goals, past halftime. This team just needs to try to relock in, work 1 goal at a time.
And it all starts with a single tap, you know, not allowing that ball to almost drop dead in front of your net. It's being able to clear efficiently, not setting up opportunities for Sailing Esports to take a much larger advantage. I need to see Godspeed either clear well or set up with a pass. These balls that end up, you know, right in front of the net or so are very frustrating to watch each time Sailing Esports kind of look for that opportunity.
Well, the opportunity is still to come. Echo, not much of a touch there. That's a beautiful defense. Sailing Esports have done a great job of working into Godspeed, not allowing too much possession, having them just get quick touches. And, you know, Godspeed, they're dangerous with the ball on their car. They haven't had much time to get that going. Fincy himself, you saw him get 2 quick goals, but this is where this team right now still trying to find the difference maker.
Feels like they're even trying to get some sort of field advantage, but Ray making sure to annihilate. Sailing Esports have been very confrontational off the start, getting some of those demos, stopping any sort of advantage, and that's why Rigorous is doing the exact same. I really do appreciate this one. And as you said, no real advantage so far as Mohaned does the exact same. This is a brutal minute so far. And the last minute, I assume, is going to be more of the same.
Yeah, you're seeing the demos. It's a demo party right now. They're doing such a great job of making them uncomfortable. And you know, when you can't beat the team, just take them off the pitch and allow yourselves just to have the number advantage there. And Sailing Esports have been playing to that. Amazing is going to be how Godspeed continues to react and what potentially happens after this game in terms of what the conversation looks like. But you know, coming into the final 30 seconds of game number 1 of the best of 5 series, Godspeed down 2 goals here late.
You need to score at least 1 in the next 10. You need 20 to be able to even play efficiently, but I don't see it happening. Sailing Esports playing keep away, long ball clears, open net as well. Tried to roll it close, but I don't think it's going to happen, or it does. Ray puts it away one more time to put Sailing Esports at 5, +3 to them for this game 1.
Well, you did say 3-1 here, Orbital. So here's number 1. So, you know, for Godspeed, they're looking to say, hey, it doesn't matter trying to go undefeated in bracket. All they have to go through is get through bracket. And this is where, right here for Godspeed, the quick mental change. What will come? What we'll see? Hey, one thing I want to know is if they're going to take their time after this one and kind of take the entirety of the clock or see themselves working on quickly. But Sailing Esports, they needed game number 1. They did it. A big 5-2 match here.
Yeah, it was a very powerful one. And you take a look, it really did fall on Ray. It felt like, who was a majority share in the front. You saw 6 shots on the net, but difficult time for Godspeed. And I do agree, I think it took him a little bit of time to ramp up. There are a lot of early stage mistakes, it felt like. They got a little bit lax. And again, when I talk about these dead balls that ended up in front of the net on their side, it felt a little bit too easy for Sailing Esports to get 2 of those goals at least. If they weren't let through, we would have looked at an even game, would have looked at an OT instead. So for Godspeed, I really want to see the defense show up. You have to recognize that you can't allow these balls to drop in the center zone. You have to be a little bit more aware off kickoff, because Sailing Esports know how to follow up on a lot of their shots. They're playing fast, they're playing exceptionally close to the ball as well. For Godspeed, you have to recognize that and counter.
Well, and you have to see it. A player who has not led this team in shots or goals did that here in Fincy. Heck of a job for him to try to just take this, take the totem pole and say, hey, I'm going to be the one to really get this going. But, you know, the main 2 goal scorers from the open haven't seen themselves get a goal yet. That's a good sign here. That's where you're saying, all right, Rigorous and Echoes, they still need to pop off. They still need to get to that point where they're seeing themselves dominate. But game number 2, quickly underhand. What changes will be made? We'll see here as everything starting to get going.
I already like it. We already saw a fast-paced kickoff trying to follow up behind that kick, following with a second, knowing that both sides are going to charge exceptionally quickly, and it was looking like that 50-50, so an immediate stall out. You can already see Godspeed keeping that pressure up, said, okay, if that's how you're going to play, we're going to do the exact same. However, for Sailing Esports, they go even faster, sealed it away twice, and put it in the net.
Yeah, this team just seems so comfortable right now. You can obviously see that they're warm. They're ready for this. And right now, Godspeed, they're trying to react, trying to put up to the pace. But Sailing Esports right now have their own win behind them.
I think for Sailing Esports, they're just going to keep flying at this pace. For Godspeed, though, I like the tempo that they rolled through. They went from a little bit in there to like 200 plus BPM. It's a much faster rate. It leaves their net a little bit more open, but they're tempering their defense with a more overwhelming offense. And I think that's a gamble that I would take any day of the week.
Well, here on this day, Sailing Esports having a good one so far. Echo, ball getting taken away quickly. Great job there by Fincy, able to react on the back line. Looking to see himself open something up as a big demo on Ray there. Godspeed, Rigorous won't be able to get much of a touch.
Tough one. Ball drops in mid, though. Ray's done it before. And Rigorous says no. So this is already an improvement. Remember this. Sailing Esports at this point already had 2. We had, I think, a grand total of 4 goals in the first minute. The fact that you keep it to a +1 feels more in line with the previous series that we saw Godspeed play for. So I like it. You keep it within 1. It means any sort of goal can overturn, and it puts a lot more pressure on your opponent as well. So for Godspeed, it's not a terrible spot to be in.
No, and this is kind of where you're saying, all right, we're getting into the game a little longer now. Our defense starting to hold up, but we still need that offense to really see themselves shining on through. Fincy, tough one, will be able to get onto the Sailing Esports side, but a quick change in possession there. 50-50 won't go towards the Godspeed way, but continue to try to hammer something. And the beautiful save there will just put this right back into midfield.
I like it. Little bit of a smooth transition here as we slide into the second half. A little bit of an opportunity, though. Great steal out. As we said, Godspeed much more recognizable and understanding Sailing Esports love to put 2 or 3 members on these repeat attacks, and then you can dance attempting under the goal as Finchie sends it just underneath one of the defenders, but Mohamed was able to read and defend for a 3rd time. Well played on both sides as Sailing Esports keep their defense strong.
Well, I'm looking how Mohamed, he knows how to win a lot of these 50s. It's been so troublesome every time Godspeed seems to have the ball. Good shot here. We'll go off the crossbar. Last second dramatics will come from a save. And Fincy once again able to pull the heartstrings here of the fans, as that will not be able to go. As some good offensive work will be here. Rigorous. Does he have a shot? This one's sailing in, but Sailing Esports gets it.
The idea was there. You were 99% of the way, but Godspeed didn't follow up. You need to follow up for a 4th time. And they stopped at 3. Difficult moment because that could have been the tying goal. And now Sailing Esports feeling more comfortable. Ray with a great defense and a pinch against that left side post. Another great save means that Sailing Esports going to this last minute and a half are still up 1.
Well, that post has been putting work all the way since the qualifier. We saw it have such a day. Mohamed and I feel he's been the best player so far. I just love what
Mhm.
he's been able to do here for Sailing Esports. It's been a big pressure, but can Godspeed down.
Ah.
We'll try to get Rigorous involved. Not much to get there, as this will go for Sailing Esports, but Godspeed trying to cook something up.
Yeah, that nosedive in the midfield was a little bit off, but this is an opportunity. Finchy sees the net, and they find it. As I said, Wolfie, Godspeed made sure to keep things close, defense on defense action, but that means it gets so tense towards this last minute, and we are now tied at 1-1.
And Godspeed, they're fighting for this goal. I love that this one didn't come easy. You're working in. This is where you kind of just start seeing yourselves get acclimated into the RLCS action. We talked about how it was a big break over the holiday break from the main event. Now they're back in it. This is where this team's saying we need a bit of a foothold. Let's try to get ourselves a big one, but they need to get out of this one. This is a must-win, in my opinion. You do not want to go 2-0 down in this series.
No, you don't. That's actually the scary thing. This is why I said it's going to be a 3-1 status, and it feels like it's going to happen almost a single carry. Echo wanted to put this one away. They didn't want to go to OT, so it was very, very close. However, now it's reset and redo. Can we see these last 15 seconds be an explosive goal, or are we going to OT?
Now it's just so awkward there for everyone involved. You saw that one. See it. OT.
Ooh.
Ray gets it with 9 seconds to go.
Cannot believe that went in.
Wow.
Dot passes it off, sends it to Ray, and you can see Finchy just wasn't ready. And it hurts, but for Godspeed, you're looking at an 0-2 start to the series.
This is where you're saying, hey, boys, we have to find a way to keep this one up. Cannot allow anything to kind of not go our way from here on in. Will it fall? This one's staying. Echo has a chance, but will just get taken off quickly. Sailing Esports trying to sail into a 2-0 right now. This team has come out quick. They've come out hot. But now, I'm going to say it, reverse sweep time here for Godspeed.
That is what we're hoping for already. My hopes are dashed, but I do expect a win out of Godspeed. It feels like they still haven't shown exactly what they can do in the entire series so far. That second game was much more powerful, though. I will give them that. Godspeed definitely moving at a higher pace. The reason that it was 1-0 for so long is it was much more powerful shots on the net and challenging Sailing Esports around. Remember, in that game, we also didn't see as many demos, which means Godspeed were playing at a faster pace. You weren't able to land the demos, and it made it much more difficult. So it feels like they started prying away at how Sailing Esports like to play the game.
And I think for Sailing Esports, they've done a good job of taking Echo and Rigorous out of the game completely. I think they're saying, let Fincy beat us. Let him be the one to score the goals for this team. Because if Echo and Rigorous start going, this team is going to get going. But game 3, a must-win here for Godspeed in the upper bracket. Trying to continue on this series just a little longer. Big demo, open things up here.
Well, that's an easy way to have it happen. Listen, you go for the demo, we see him explode, and the Mahana is like, dude, what's going on here? Sailing Esports start things off with the wreckage, and Godspeed caught a little bit off guard.
And this team is just so aggressive, and I feel that aggression right now is just unsettling Godspeed. I don't think they felt that they were going to be taken out of the game this much throughout this series. But this is where you're saying, hey, this is the game, the play style that we're having to go up against. We have to find a way to adapt right now. Longer clear. Let's open things up. Let's not allow ourselves to kind of be too on top of each other where these demos start causing big havoc. But off the backboard, not much to go there. And they've already seen 2 goals off that backboard here this series.
You have to be a little bit worrisome, right? Look at another challenge in the air. Sailing Esports really loving going for these 1v1s, always testing Mahan and forcing that ball straight to midfield and into a little bit further range. Sailing Esports really, really comfortable in that position. For Godspeed, you're still chasing. It always feels like they're half a beat behind in the current races. Mahana goes high, pinches it to the right side. Echo able to flush it out. Punts it high to Dot once again.
Oh, and a beautiful job there, almost grabbing the full pinch to try to see himself get an absolute lucrative shot, but slightly off kilter there. Godspeed working on the half of Sailing Esports. Rigorous getting a demo in the back line, but still 2 up here for Sailing Esports, trying to put this away. Fincy, good clear, will hit his man in Rigorous as a 1-2 punch. Will it go back as it won't be able to find too much there?
I think for Godspeed, you found the right pace of play that you need to go for. Now you need to just sneak it past one of the defenders. Godspeed, we've seen some really good aggression come out here, but just hasn't yielded too much. Sailing Esports' their defense has been so strong. Are they going to go high or are they going to go low? That's the big question for me. Godspeed want that first goal of the game.
Yeah, and I've seen so far Rigorous is playing that up position. He's looking for that long clear to get that offensive going while allowing Echo and Fincy kind of to hold off that back line, but not too much boost here for Godspeed. They have been in a position to almost be at a deficit so far. Sailing Esports has done a great job of starving them from this point. Quick touch there will just go down. Rigorous trying to see what he can get going, but not much room to really work with. The shot right back onto the Godspeed half. Big bumps happening, trying to find a second goal here. Rigorous with the ball in hand will just get taken off.
I think for Rigorous, once again, you mentioned it, Rigorous has been kind of tempered this entire game, has been denied in multiple different ways, is now single-handedly running it off the left side of the field, but for Dot, you send it right up midfield. Mohamed, the star, for Sailing Esports, sets it up for a teammate. Ray punts it towards a near open net, but Ray was able to get in there, and Finchie said, no dice. Echo now going to try and steal it away one more time. We're down to the last 2 minutes here, and it can be very dicey. Echo with a great early save.
And the pace of play, you're seeing it. They're doing such a great job of just not allowing this team to just be able to breathe out there. The old calm strat. But, for Sailing Esports, you talk about aggression. You talk about beating the team. They're physically beating Gotsu right now with these bumps and demos.
I believe that was 2 demos in a row as well. Yeah. Sailing Esports basically missed 2 shots and said, screw it, you're not even going to get a run on our goal. Demoed out 2. Godspeed had no one in the offense, and it's a painful way to delete someone, but it's working. I remember the days of when, demos were looked down on, but it's a very big part of the game. And if you utilize it well, it becomes a mainstay strategy. Really well done.
And you see it right now. Echo and Fincy both low boost. 0 there for Rigorous. This team, they are dry, bone dry, but still some miracles coming through there with no boost.
I mean, that's a save, though. Finchie saying, dude, we're not out. We need this reserve sweep, and we're going to try and go for it. Once again, aggression out, but Sailing Esports, all they have to do is slip up once. Godspeed concealed away. That might be the chance. High ball, Dot able to find it. Is anyone there to rebuttal? 48 seconds left before this game goes away. We need to see that tying goal from Godspeed.
Well, Godspeed need to save this one. The shot slightly off kilter. I think Godspeed, they just need one win in this series to say, we understand it now. We know what we need to get going. Ray coming in last seconds, 30 seconds remaining in this one. Godspeed need a goal here quickly. Rigorous gonna take this himself, down and in. Echo won't be able to get much there as they're scrambling. Echo, slight boost, but a big ward off.
For Sailing Esports, you can see the long ball punts, the clears coming out here, keeping the ball away from Godspeed. We're down to the last second. Can this struggle work? It's going to be a redirect there into Finchie's hand, and it's a 0-second goal. They do it. They tie it up in game 3.
We're going to OT, ladies and gentlemen. Don't click off anywhere. Fincy, the man who's been the MVP here on the goal end, has taken this one to extras.
The question is, we know how fast these teams play. 50 goes sideways. Are we going to see an immediate goal, or are we going to see a slow ball chance? Are we going to see 3 minutes in OT, or maybe 7 or longer? That's the big question.
If you're Godspeed, you're hoping this one goes quick. I feel that 100%. You just want to get yourself in a position, not worry. Yes, that's a big worry. Fincy gets it through. That one will be able to end overtime. The cinema. Hope you like drama because we saw it here in game 3.
From teamwork to eye in team, a single flip is all it took. And then Fincy, from end to end, ran it so freaking hard. And I give credit. I did not respect Fincy enough. Fincy straight up keeping Godspeed in this series.
Oh man, I'm having trouble breathing right now. I don't know if it's a coffee. My heart is going crazy. But for Godspeed, that's how you get it done. Work through the entirety of the game. You found yourself. This team, it wasn't easy, but they got through it.
No.
But that's what things aren't easy once you get to RLCS. You never asked it to be easy, and got to right now. They finally got a taste of a win. Now, where does this take you? This game's so important, trying to tie the series up 2-2, but you have to work one goal at a time.
I really, really feel like they're not going to be satisfied with this. You cannot be satisfied with this game number 3. You need to go into this game number 4 and speed off the line. Fincy has now established themselves as a threat, so this is now no longer a focus the weak link. This is a we are going to mess with you, we are going to destroy you. I think from Sailing Esports, everyone will be looked at as a demo threat, and for Godspeed, keep that ball moving, keep juggling who is that aggressor, keep Sailing Esports guessing on who the star will be.
And this is where you're saying, hey, if they're demoing, they're going to overextend. They're down in numbers. We have to make those demos work against them. And this is where Godspeed right now, they seem to be playing at such a little crisper game style right now. I feel that first couple games with them just getting ready, but no longer get ready. It's here and now. Fincy looking off for this one. We'll just have a clear, but a shot right there to mid will be taken from a Sailing Esports player. Rigorous in the back line with a huge save as all three in front of the net for Godspeed. Trying to get out of the way. Rigorous won't be able to win the 50. It's just been a battle here at midfield.
Yeah, I was about to say, you were talking about 150. It was everyone right there. It was a 3v3 inside of the corner pocket. There was no one else out on the field, which is why I got a little bit scared about some of those hauls. But for Godspeed, it's a chance to have dead ball in the center, and it happens again. Wolfie, I talked about it. This one I can't even blame Godspeed, but Sailing Esports score the first of the game.
Yeah, it's unfortunately for Fincy, just was not able to get the touch there. But Godspeed, the one thing they've been in this series is playing from behind. So they haven't made. This is where this team just trying to change the aspect. They did a good job in game number 1 and being able to really see themselves get quick goals back once they were down. You need that same type of effect here as Mohamed taking that away quickly. He's just been so quick. He has not allowed Godspeed to have any chance with the ball. Every time Godspeed seems to try to be working with something, they take it away and do not allow them to try to eat whatsoever.
No, they've been stopped in their tracks multiple times over, and for Sailing Esports, whenever that happens, it always feels like a quantity of shots will be sent at Godspeed's net. And if they're not ready for defense, it becomes a problem. However, long ball to center, right corner, Ray says no thank you. I saw that coming a mile away, which is appropriate. Rigorous tries a second, a little bit of a tighter corner, but not going to happen either. Mohamed, though, says, I'll take it straight up the field off the backboard into the hands of a teammate, and Dob puts it away in the bottom right.
Yeah, that was just a demo. And once that demo happened there, you kind of just felt that who's going to get back for Godspeed. Echo trying in the last couple seconds, was not able to get much. But so far, Sailing Esports, they have just been an eye-opener here so far. They have been playing amazing. They continue it on 3-0 now.
It feels like for Sailing Esports, they've broken through the armor. Godspeed losing one off kickoff, and this is what I was talking about, Wolfie. You start seeing almost that collapse, that mental break a little bit. Godspeed need to pull it back. They're not out of this yet. You got 2.5 minutes to play. That's plenty of time to score 3 back if you keep the pressure, and you find a way to break through Sailing Esports' constant aggression.
Well, the aggression continue on. We're getting here towards halftime. Godspeed need to pick up the aggro if they want to see themselves get right back into this game. All it takes is win 1 goal at a time from here. Mohamed will have a touch, will find himself going off of a teammate, and that's something Godspeed has not been able to do too much. They haven't been able to connect. It seems that Sailing Esports has done a great job of really warding off a lot of the passing plays that Godspeed is trying to get going. It hasn't really been open for them. You see 2 in the same vicinity there for Godspeed. You have to start a way to try to open things up a bit more.
Feel that all the same, but at the current moment, Salem Esports really battening down the hatches here, ensuring that they're challenging in the midfield, making sure that pass stops at the 1 instead of the 2, diverging and stealing the ball away as Dot nearly carries it into the net, got pushed off course. Well played to them. Godspeed, minute and a half left. Can they make some sort of magic happen?
They're going to have to quick because this team right now, they can't get discombobulated the way things are going. Big demo. Fincy has a convoy in front of him but won't be able to get much of a touch. Rigor is trying to continue this one on but won't be able to hit a teammate. That's going to go all for Ray. And this team has so far been picking the pockets of all the passes as Rigorous trying to work something himself. Mohammed, the last man on defense, will be able to get it off the backboard as Godspeed trying to fight for this first goal. Fincy gets 50.
And this actually scares me. 3 goals to score, and you only have about 55 seconds. It's a high call. And it feels like things are slipping away here. Long ball to the far side. Fincy picks it up. But you need back-to-back goals very quickly if you want to make this series option. And it might be a 3-1, but not the way I hoped, Wolfie. I'm a little bit scared and sad right now.
Yeah, I feel for Godspeed. You got put up to a high level of Rocket League after getting a DQ. You got to sit for almost an hour and a half. So, you don't get the benefit of saying, hey, we are fresh. We just came off a game. We're warm. We're hot. We're ready. This team came in cool, calm, and collective, but Sailing Esports just had that fire underneath them.
4th goal just to put a final statement. And we also mentioned that Sailing Esports is another team that everyone has to have their eyes on. The only series they lost back in the Swiss group stage was to Project De La Cruz, another squad that is obviously rolling through. I believe they've already punched their ticket into days 4 and 5. So it's a big ask here in Pool 1, which we'll see the same for Godspeed, who will try their best in the lower bracket to face off against another squad and get one more chance at that second win on the day.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a team who had a DQ early will not be able to move on. I really feel that was the difference. You can go from failure to success, but you can't go from excuse to success, and there's no excuses here, but that's just tough to come into today and not being able to have that first game just to get yourself acclimated to what today brings. But I think what's going to happen now is that this team is going to be absolutely hungry and seething at the mouth after this last game. Trust the process. I believe it, but what are your thoughts here, Orbital?
I actually 100% agree. I think they just weren't warmed up. They faced off against a very angry Sailing Esports, a squad that obviously wanted it a little bit more. And I think Godspeed are now awakened. They're ready to go. Now facing off against the winner of Overlooked or Goblin Barrel. They beat Goblin Barrel last time. Goblin Barrel had a really tough time so far in their matches, it looks like. I believe they're still playing. So either of these next opponents is going to be a very fun one to watch.
It will be. And ladies and gentlemen, you can keep watching on this channel. Smash the heart button. Leave a follow. We're growing every single day. We need your help to continue doing it. But we're waiting on our next matchup. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some more Rocket League. Well, it's now or never. Top 8, day 4 on their way tomorrow. Who gets in there? This match decides it here, Orbital. You can't ask for more cinematics, more drama than what we've been getting.
Yeah, I mean, it's all down to the wire here. Last series was a bit rough for the side of Godspeed. They took a loss 1-3. It was not the way they wanted to go out on the opening series, technically their second series of the day. So going into this one, they want to make a good impression. They want to make it to days 4 and 5.
And this is kind of where I'm interested to see how this team kind of plays. They got to a point where, you know, it wasn't what you were hoping for, but like we said, they had no time to really get going, and for the most part, they were off the field due to demos. So, you know, a lot of frustration in that last game. I think Sailing Esports had a great game plan of what they brought into, but now Overlook, the boys are over there on that side. Let's see what they bring. This is a tough squad. They have so much on this team. Taha, Lunatic, J-Box, 3 names for the Apac Rlcs inning that you're used to hearing here. So things don't get easier in the Rlcs. Things only get more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, these are both squads that came out of that Pool 1 from Swiss Stage, the same group, I believe, or, no, sorry, that was Pool 2. Same pool as Godspeed, so all these players were playing alongside each other along that last week, so they all kind of know exactly what was going on. They had a good idea. They were probably in communication, recognizing that these are all players that they are going to be very excited to face off against. For the record, I do believe when we were looking at Overlooked was another squad that had a rough loss in one of their matches. They actually lost to Kanoko Soup in round 3 of the Swiss, so they came in with a 3-1 record instead, so a little bit more hampered on their entry in. So I expect them to also be playing very hard here, especially since they had to play through the lower side. They faced off, I think, against Project de la Cruz in the opener, and they're just like, dude, like that's a rough one. They gotta fight back. They beat Goblin Barrel 3-1. I'm sure they're ready to go for their 3rd series.
And Goblin Barrel, they went 3-2 against Sailing Esports. So this is where, I'm sorry, 3-1 against Big Dogs. That's a team in Big Dogs who got 3-0 against Project de la Cruz, but who really isn't gonna be 3-0 for Project de la Cruz? So you're kind of saying, all right, well, boys, at least we got to see that high-level competition to get our sticks ready for what's to come. Because once you see that speed, everything else just seems a little bit slower. But for Godspeed, You have to work quick. You saw what happens when you're down a goal. It just seems like the snowball effect. Once it started going, it just started going for them. And this is where you're saying, game 1, best of 5. Let's put ourselves on the right foot forward with the big win. Doesn't matter how you get it. A win's a win at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think that all starts with somehow protecting yourself against the demos. I have a feeling when you're taking a look, I don't think Overlooked really watched the series, but from an understanding viewpoint, make an identification that we need to stop those demos, need to stop those interferences. As you said, Sailing Esports came into this with a really clear goal, and I think for Godspeed, you come into this and say, okay, did Overlooked watch that last series, and were they kind of expecting the same? Are they going to aim for more demos, or are they going to play a little bit more what we like to call standard? Are they going to go for a much safer route, which is just, hey, let's go ahead, play our game, look for passes, look for clean gameplay, or are we going to have a very nitty-gritty game that will set the tone for this game number 1?
Well, it all starts now. The journey to tomorrow. Results on this series. 5 minutes here in game number 1 here in the lower portion of the bracket. Overlooked. Godspeed. Fincy pushing this off. Lunatic will just take it away quickly, but not much to go as a big clear there by Echo.
Yep, start things off strong, and one of the things that I also had a little bit of comment on is for Godspeed, you can't let that ball drop in front of your net 4 out of 5 times. You have to make sure to clear that ball appropriately and then apply pressure on Overlooked when they don't do the same. So far, the demo's starting off strong, already denying a lot of what Overlooked want to do, so I do appreciate it. The problem, I feel, is Godspeed maybe getting a little bit over-aggressive and forgetting about the defense.
And that's going to be where you have to find that healthy balance, that little mix of where you're really taking away any possibility of getting hurt here. Taha, big shot on, but playing the backboard. Fincy able to get there quickly. Rigorous, a lot of room, something he didn't have in that last series. Try to get to Echo, but won't be able to connect.
This feels like a much slower game as well, which I don't disagree with. Start things off slow, try and figure out exactly how your opponent's going to play. If we remember, it felt like Sailing Esports came out of that game 1 firing hot, going around the map, speeding so dang quickly that Godspeed never had a way to ramp up. This one feels much more in line with Godspeed's pace, take things slow, angle for a game 2 burst of speed.
Well, and exactly. This team's trying to control things right now, where in the last game it was just chaos. And to control chaos is where you want to get to, but Taha top bins.
I mean, that was a beautiful setup. We saw that. It was a juggle of the ball, and Rigorous got bounced by Lunatic, which sent the ball in a weird spot. Echo just wasn't ready. They were prepping for a defense, but the turnaround wasn't fast enough, so Overlooked taking a step forward.
Well, step forward, but Godspeed trying to take a big jump. Need to try to tie this up quickly, and I feel this team can allow for a lead to go for Overlook for too long. Such a confident team, such a great team that they are going to know how to really contain you. And every goal is going to come at a premium. Let's see what you're willing to pay for those goals. As Lunatic putting this right back to mid. Fincy just clears this one off, giving up possession right back to the boys in blue.
Yep. Takes a little time, and again, 2.5 minutes, still plenty of time to play, nothing too out of the world. A little bit of a low roll ball, what a demo to come out, but a great save coming from J-Box. Good dig out, but another spread on the map. Chaos after that was 3 demos in front of the net. Overlooked, staving off yet another goal.
And there you saw there, Echo, unfortunately, didn't get mid-boost, saw himself rotate back. Now 2 defenders back for Godspeed, trying to see if they can get themselves off their half. But the first half of Rocket League here in game number 1 officially coming to a close. Godspeed, so looking for that first goal is a huge clear. Fincy will have full possession. Passes 1 will allow for a teammate to get a second touch, but we'll just see itself lofting right in front of the goal here. Not much to work for. Is Taha taking this for himself?
I think if I remember correctly, last time they played, Godspeed generally likes playing within this last few minutes window. What a roller, though, as Echo hears the echo of their kick, and maybe wasn't really expecting that goal.
No, I honestly, my jaw is on the floor right now. What a job just to elude everybody. It seemed that he had defenders all over him, but just put him in Genjutsu and says, I'm walking myself right past. You see me, now you don't. Now you see this one all tied up.
I mean, you saw that roller as well. It was a quick flick. It was a rare attempt at just sneaking by. Really, really well done. Now for Godspeed, you're back in a position where I was about to say they love playing in these tight areas within these last few minutes. It feels like they always come back with the second half speed as that ball nearly goes in. Nice redirect coming out of Overlooked. But it's getting close. Godspeed starting to see some cracks within the armor of the defense that Overlooked have put up for so far.
I just gotta say, I gotta ask the post there. Who's paying you off? Everything off the post has just come off, and we've seen that all the way from the qualifier. Godspeed right now trying to open up the net. Fincy, what a save! Lunatic right back down. That's gonna take the lead here with 105.
And I love that J-Box. When you take that flick, you immediately run in and you saw the defender. Fincy wasn't able to get out of the goal box because of that block. So Overlooked doubling up on that offensive push. Really, really well done by them. I have to give them credit.
Well, the credit's still here with a minute to go. Who will get the win credit at the end of this? This one cleared off. Somebody there for Overlook trying to get, but nobody able to find much. And I like that there. Kind of just left it alone. Had two teammates try to grab that pass. Echo, not much boost. Will just get taken off right there. And he has not had possession for too long here tonight. It's been one where you see him try to get Mechie, see him try to get going, and he says, I need some time. Ring my name with an echo.
I love that this is the goal that you score on the rigorous passing it off the backboard. And huge point as well, Echo scored a random goal in that first for them. The second one, very much playing. Godspeed starting to come online, and the playbook is very much alive. With 30 seconds left, they could take this away.
Well, and they need to take it here. Don't look for a 0-second shocker like we saw back in game number 3 in that last series.
Yep.
Don't get a lot of heartbeat. Get yourself right out of it. Don't put your mental at display because, tough games, that tests your mind. Can you be able to handle this pressure for the entirety of it? Godspeed's done it, but 10 seconds left, has a good amount of booze. Fincy has a man coming right in him, and Lunatic will not be able to get much of a touch. 0 seconds if this one touches on the ground, and welcome to overtime here in game number round 3.
Yeah, I like that dump as well. Overlook said, look, we're not going to play for that spice. We're just going to send it. Make sure to kind of reset. You're at net 0. It's not the worst in the world. Godspeed already challenging on the wings, which they do love playing on the wings. We've noticed they love looking for those passes off the walls and everything like that. Not too much in terms of setting up an early 1-2 from the mid. When they do, it's a single shot and then it rolls out to someone else. Overlooked with a nice little capture, but off the backboard they go, and Echo does the exact same, but this time it's a double save coming in from Overlooked. 2 defenders to stop.
Well, you're seeing the fakes start coming out here for Godspeed. This team is doing a great job of just trying to use a mind game, saying, I'm up. Nope, I have a teammate right behind me. Lunatic making a huge run there at the goal. Won't see too much, but a heart string puller. That one was the big pinch. This one had a chance, but J-Box able to box that one out. But Godspeed still hunting for this goal.
Oh, wow. And it was so close as there it is. I was wondering. Fincy with a great pickup recognized that squeeze on the corner. Steamrolls in from midfield and redirects to the bottom left. This time, the corner could not contain.
Hey, and all that matters is how I contain my excitement for this win. What a win right now for Godspeed. You saw yourself just working on the early couple minutes to see yourself get this win. You finally see them on that shot total. Echo leading this team, and I feel that's where this team needs to be. Fincy, over this last couple series, he's the one who's had the most shots on net per game. That's maybe a position where we're not used to seeing him too much. He will take that position by reins, but this is the reason Echo. We saw the stats throughout the Open. He led this team in Open number 1 in shots. And here he's doing it once again.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, I want to point out that for Godspeed and Overlook, they were both sitting at about 8 shots each, or about 10, I believe. It was 5, 3, and 2 on either side. That's how close this game was. For Godspeed, it was a breath of fresh air. You're able to bounce back, but you really don't want to go to OT each time. So for Fincy, for Echo, for Rigorous, I'm glad that you got the game. We want to see it even cleaner. We want to see you take a lead early. We want to see you keep the lead, and we want to see you roll in take this game number 2, put it to a game 3, and feel comfortable in the rest of the series.
Oh, game 2 on the docket already, ladies and gentlemen. Have you been enjoying the action? We have, and we're going right back into it. And, Godspeed, you got the first game. Now, this is where you put your stamp on it. You take the second game of the series, you're in the driver's seat for the rest of the way through. 5 minutes currently on the board.
Well, let's get to it. Main thing to watch for Godspeed. Are you going to go individual? Or are you going to play off those corners once again? It feels like Godspeed love those corner passes or love passing off to those wings and then rolling it in like that. But this time it's the reverse as Echo streaks from midfield and slams home goal number 1.
This is where you finally got something going. You called it. Rigorous to Echo off the wing, see themselves getting a huge goal to start things off, and a quick one. Now, for the first time here into today, Godspeed has their first lead early.
And I love that we saw a demo off the fire as well. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I said I want to see them get aggressive. I want to see them kind of forcing their way in. One of the things that they had trouble with before was they weren't aggressive enough, and Godspeed off to the races as Fincy sends a second.
Okay. The boys, we got to work at Godspeed. We're doing it. Or this is where what we're used to from this team. And once you take the passing ability away from them, you see the offense kind of slow down. But once they start connecting, once they start feeling themselves into a series, this team is a monster waiting to continue roaring. But it's where you're saying, hey, we got to show some fangs. We got to find a way to continue being aggressive here. Don't take your foot off the gas. Foot on the pedal. No such thing as breaks in this series. And we're coming ourselves to the first 60 seconds off the clock here. Echo trying to put this right in front of the net. Rigorous couldn't get it. What a chance there by the defense in Lunatic.
I love that they went for it, though. Very, very well contested from Overlooked, but the fact that it got that close should make them scared for a third. Ball not fully defended, but Fincy's able to punt it away. High ball back to the backboard. Good pickup by Taha. It's going to be right back in Overlook's hands. However, they are playing from behind here. We know how stalwart Godspeed can be when it comes to keeping this at a 0-0 half. So up 2 means Overlooked had to play much faster if they want to break through the next 2 minutes.
That's just unfortunate. Clear there. Taha reading that beautifully, takes it for himself. And, this is where Godspeed, you've seen some of the long clears, but Overlooked has done a great job of being in those positions to take full advantage of them. This is where Godspeed right now, you have to find a way to not allow yourself to try to set things up here for Overlooked. They're too good of a team to be given a touch like that, as this one popped right back in front of the net. Staying back, it will be Rigorous. Won't see too much come for himself, as Echo playing ball will make things awkward as Godspeed trying to get off their half.
All right, and for Godspeed, it's not the worst in the world. You can continue playing defense until you find the right opportunity. The number of shots that Overlooked are starting to send might make you a little bit worried. Rigorous off to the left side wing. Echo waiting inside. Not going to happen as the ball is challenged. Echo now taking position. Hauls butt in. 2 defenders look to close. They are able to slow things down once again. First half completed here. Second on the horizon. Still stuck at 2-0.
Oh, what a job there by Fincy, just reading that boost perfectly. Had no boost, was able to pick up mid, and that's allowed him to continue on to the play and made this a chance here lucrative. But will it come away with the goal? Tight angle, won't see it as a bump there. Won't get rid of the defender for Overlooked as Godspeed still trying to put this one on. Won't see too much. It's a great job by the defense. They've been warding things away. They've been keeping things at a point where Godspeed can't be able to retaliate on a lot of these clears, as J-Box just trying to work this around.
I will say, though, for Overlooked, you're a little bit worried that all you're doing is clearing. Godspeed, not only had they been aggressive, and yeah, they haven't really scored, but they burned a full minute and a half off the clock. In a 2-0 scenario, that's perfectly fine. That's like baseline for them. Now they can look for a third, and they are. Echo, what a roller, puts in the third in clean fashion.
What a job. He has just been doing a heck of a job in this game. It seems that he finally got his footing. It seems that this team is feeling themselves. They finally are at a point where they feel normal. In that last series, it feels maybe the pace of play to start things off maybe was a bit too high for them, but they seem comfortable. This team took some minutes, but they're finally in it.
I mean, I love it. For God's speed, it's a breath of fresh air, and again, it takes a large weight off your shoulder. If you go ahead and take this in a 3-0, you put yourself at 2-0 in the series, and you get to play with extra time. Even if you lose a game, it doesn't feel too bad. You can still sit back and kind of feel comfortable and play your own game style. I love it. It feels like that's what they're doing here. With a minute left, I expect Godspeed to not really focus on a goal. Instead, focus on clears, focus on making sure that ball just doesn't come straight back in your direction.
And I feel do not allow for Overlook to get a goal here. Well, just to not see themselves feel something, just so they don't have anything in the back of their pocket saying, all right, we got something positive here. No, keep them with that monkey on their back in terms of that 0. Don't allow them to really get any sort of positivity in this game. Keep them down, keep them out, and keep going. As J-Box, good pass there midfield. Taha will just get 50'd out. Not much room to work with, as Rigger is going to take this for himself, but won't get too far. But that's a quick change of possession.
I like it. With 20 seconds left for Overlooked, you're already looking at game number 3. Same with Godspeed. For Godspeed, it's a huge shift in the direction. They played a much smoother game, and this time was a lot more passing. As you mentioned, they got themselves in a really good spot. They started being able to pass wing play into mid, into a 1, 2, and 3. Fincy as well as Echo really leading the charge, and Rigorous there for the play if they needed. Really well done.
Well, in a good spot, in a great spot. One spot remaining for tomorrow, and Godspeed right now see themselves inching closer to that one, but you can't overlook it. Fincy seeing himself as the MVP for this game, 3 shots to his name, was able to go 33% there with that 1 goal, but 2 saves. That's what was the difference here. We saw him be that defensive wall on the stat line, and he's showing it right now in this series.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very, very impressive. And not only that, I want you to recognize on the other side, we saw the likes of Overlooked only have 2 actual shots on the net, which when it counts like that, it means that for Godspeed, you're challenging further away from the net. You're challenging basically at the touch and not allowing the ball to even look in that direction. That is very forward-thinking mentality and ensuring that Overlook can't play into you. They're not in the net where we saw them where we saw them before when facing off against Sailing Esports, where they're literally rolling in the net, trying to dig their way out of it. It was full on midfield defense, which I really do appreciate. Godspeed are back on top, and I expect this game 3 to do more of the same.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, game number 3. The drum roll here, Overlook cannot be overlooked. You say this team, if you feel that you have this game in the bag, you can't. You have to just continue respecting this squad. Overlook's a great team. If you allow themselves to get an inch, they're going to take a mile. But 5 minutes to decide if Godspeed gets through, or we will see another game here. Trying to work quick, trying to get going. Echo, Rigorous, 50. The 1-2-3 punch.
I mean, that's as easy as you can call it right there. I don't even think Overlooked were looking in the goal line direction, and Echo just sneaks it away. Great way to start off this game 3. And Overlooked not too happy about their chances of making it to day 4.
Well, and this is where I feel for Overlook, you weren't hoping for that first goal to go in this quickly. It's a team that knew that Godspeed was coming out a lot firepower, especially a lot to prove. Godspeed, they didn't like the way that last series went, and they wanted to make sure they made a statement. Well, this game right now, this series, is that statement that you can try to ride off on. But Overlooked, they're not out of this one. It's only 1 goal. They can tie this one up and still have plenty of time. But for Godspeed, you have to find a way to make that tie a lot longer to get to, as Fincy will just get that one blocked in front of him. Nice clear there by Taha. J-Box running for the demo, will be able to get it.
I mean, I think J-Box was more looking for the bump. If you can bump them off that ball was aimed at the goal. So it was a good attempt, but the speed was just not there. And Godspeed able to successfully defend. A little bit of a 50-50. Dead ball sent off to the right side this time. And Overlooked, maybe taking a chance and a deep dive in, but it's not going to happen. Ball rolls high. They're going to have to play out of that corner. No one from Overlooked ready to pick it up, so it will be Godspeed to clear.
And I like that move there for Overlooked. Almost was able to just penetrate the back line, but Godspeed doing a good job of just collapsing right back in, taking away a lot of the room that this team has been trying to work and develop, as Lunatic We'll just get that one taken away. Quick Musty Rigorous trying to take it down the entire way himself, but won't see too much. Blue cars in front of him as J-Box trying to take this north to south.
I don't dislike it. Again, I know we're at a 1-0, but I'm okay with this. Godspeed have a habit of playing within one of their opponent and still holding down the fort in very powerful fashion. Rigorous slowing down the pace even more so than I would like, but more than willing to do so. Now picks up no boost. Says, you know, that wasn't really for me. Currently zeroed out. Actually, multiple members there. Finally, Max comes in. Godspeed are back off to the races with that Nitro in bank.
Well, that's where I feel Overlook has to really play. Keep this team boost starved. That's what we saw from Sailing Esports for the majority of that last game. Godspeed, they couldn't get pads, they couldn't get big boosts. This team just had to rely on whatever was given to them. That wasn't much. So, this one trying to work back in, and Lunatic able to get the crosshairs right on the net. That's going to go for the equalizer 3 seconds into halftime.
That bounce was awkward. Even Fincy was a little bit thrown off. Well played by Overlooked, but it's still a 1-1. Godspeed had the whole second half to be able to bounce back. I can foresee them more than willing to get a kickoff goal, which was very, very close to actually happening. And then it happens. Fincy sat there. Might not be pure kickoff, but it's close enough.
To see, it's Fincy. He has played amazing here today. He's been, I feel, overall the MVP for Godspeed throughout the entire day. Has really stepped up in the captain position, and with twos all over the board, 2 goals now for Godspeed, 1 separating both these two teams. Godspeed trying to get past them. Echo backboard double tap, leaves it down for Rigorous as that one just slightly above the crossbar.
It looked like Fincy also wasn't willing to risk the open net to go challenge for a third. I feel like that would have been a good opportunity, but again, it's a 1-goal difference. You can't allow that to happen, so I do appreciate the restraint that Godspeed are showing at this current moment. A little bit of flick over, Rigorous recognizing there's a few more there, but Lunatic took advantage, and this time it's a tie-up game, 2-2.
Yeah, I saw that touch there, and it was so dangerous. Paul himself past one defender, but Lunatic waiting in the wings, just trying to hunt off, and he was able to put on in a big way. 150 remaining, all knotted up once again. We wouldn't have wanted to have it any other way here.
I'm kind of wondering how tough this is going to be. Overlooked, wondering if they can get it. High ball. This is Godspeed rolling it straight towards that center, but it's not going to work. Good defense coming out of Overlooked now as they feel a much tenser game here. Can they find another? They do. Lunatic with a hat trick of their own. What in the world is going on here? Overlooked, you called it. Can't be overlooked for this game 3.
Well, and that's where Rigorous, he tried taking away the pinch opportunity before he even started, but unfortunately, with just off kilter there, was not able to get a touch, and that just set up a beautiful pass there with 2 defenders back. Not much room, but Godspeed, they've done a great job of working quickly off kickoffs. Let's see if they can do it once more. Taha working the backboard extremely well there. Just going to take it right back on to the orange half. Needing a second goal. We'll get it. Taha finds his first, but a 2-goal lead now here for Overlooked.
Feels like they started to come back in on their own form. Will it be enough, though, as this game is starting to come into their possession to take games 4 and 5? I feel like Godspeed, they slipped up a little bit. It's not over. I feel like they can score 2 within this time frame. Will it happen is a whole different question. But they're still up 2 games as a whole in this series. They still have more to play with.
Well, while I still feel confident that Godspeed has this series, you don't want to give any confidence here to Overlooked and kind of say, hey, you guys are in this series now. And, for Godspeed, get a goal here, get a third one. You've been shut down for quite a bit now. Need to find a way to ramp things up, but Overlooked doing a great job of adjusting. Are they back? Yes, they will be. Lunatic in the last couple seconds gets one more touch, but a bump there by J-Box will not allow Echo to even sniff an opportunity.
That's a tough one. Fincy carrying high, 30 seconds left. Lunatic picks it up, but doesn't fully redirect. So Echo takes advantage, but Taha, great redirect to a corner. Rigorous picks it up, tries to backflip over, but not going to have it. Demo out. Fincy looks off the backboard again. That would have been it right there, Wolfie. That would have put them within 1 and given them enough time. But now we're down to the last 10, and I don't fully see it happening. Rigorous Sends a high once more, but Taha now going to carry it in their own possession. Keep away has been activated. And game number 3 goes the way of Overlooked.
And you know what stopped it? The crossbar. The crossbar has been relentless throughout this one as Overlooked. The sweep goes away. And for Godspeed, you're not looking for it. You're just looking at making it tomorrow. But one more game here. Overlooked has awarded themselves. How much longer the series go? We'll still have to find out. But no, Godspeed, 12 shots onto net. We're able to outpace Overlooked to their 8. So, the department of shooting was right there, but the defense doing a heck of a job. Taha with 4 saves, getting over a hat trick for that. So, this team, they were pushed to the wire, and they held on.
Yeah, I feel like that was Lunatic kind of coming out of the woodworks and surprising all of us for that game 3. It's always difficult. I mean, we saw the same performance from Godspeed whenever a star steps up Rigorous in one of the games. Echo and Fincy each in their own. We know when stars rise up. It's how do you delete them is a question. And I feel like for Godspeed, you take a page out of Sailing Esports book. Target down Lunatic. Lunatic seems to be getting a lot of these passes being set up in the mid. Find a way to take them out of the game. Push them back down and say, hey, you got to find a different carry. And if you don't, you're going to lose.
Well, will be the outcome after this one, 5 minutes. But Fincy, he's done a great job. We've seen the connection from Echo and Rigorous start to dwindle. I think a lot of attention has been put onto that pairing. Once that happens, it does allow Fincy to open up and start really controlling a lot of this game. But all question marks are on the board. Who will answer this one first? Taha taking this one, 10 boost to his name, going to drop it down to Lunatic. We'll see a pass there, but won't see too much opportunity. It's a good job getting right in the way of Fincy to not allow that one to get any more scary.
Yep, difficult times here. It is going to be Ascend once more. High ball and a bit of a question mark, though, because the ball is kind of being juked around here. J-Box not wanting to let that one up, but has to. Right now, Godspeed seeing the ball on their side of the field. Where does the first attack come from?
Well, this is where I'm still looking for those pass plays. We saw Rigorous get a lot of solo plays over the qual, and the crossbar getting another one on the docket. The best defender in Rlcs is this one. We'll just see itself lofting right back to midfield. Quick pass. J-Box can't connect. Ran out of boost.
That feels good for Godspeed. An option has opened up for them, and these opportunities don't always come by, which is why they need to take full advantage. Great defense from Overlooked. Did give them a little bit of scare. Rigorous with a great demo, though, as we mentioned. Checking out Taha. Fincy has to let it fall. Only 16, not enough to complete this run.
Well, and right there, Rigorous just getting bumped off the ball. Seemed to have more than enough boost to really make something going. Great job by the defense. They have not allowed Godspeed to really work out this game so far. It's been one where it has to be a collective. You saw it back in game number 2 with the 1-2-3 pass. I feel you have to get right back to that. No, everybody has to be involved. You can't just rely on one. That goes for both teams as Overlooked trying to set themselves up. J-Box sees a shot on net, gets a pinch, but 2 defenders in the net there for Godspeed.
I mean, that is Godspeed really protecting their own turf right now. They burned about 2 minutes off. It's getting down to that close wire once again, saying who's going to score that first goal, who's going to offset this net zero right now, who is going to do it. And it's Rigorous once again to dig Godspeed out of this rut and say, let's go, guys. We're going to punch our ticket through.
And I feel it's one of the most important goals here. Just get the lead and now put some pressure on. It's a ticking time bomb here for Overlook with 2:47. Godspeed, if they can find a way to get a second goal, it can allow themselves to have a bit more of a foothold as Echo will be able to get full boost. Taking his time here, looking for an angle. J-Box, where he's into him quickly, won't be able to allow Godspeed to work, as that one will not see too much action with Rigorous coming in with no boost.
I mean, for Rigorous, you've already done your job, though. Redirect and force that ball away. Don't allow Overlook to get some sort of handle on it, which I do appreciate. Fincy goes high as well. Taha trying to carry it for their own. But Godspeed, they're playing their own game right now. They burned off 2 minutes. They can do it once again. I think for Overlooked, you're starting to get a little bit antsy. Once again, that magic that happened last game, it's kind of gone. Lunatic would have been online at this point, but Lunatic's getting marked a little bit too much by Godspeed. Really well done by Godspeed's side.
Yeah, Lunatic, you saw him be one of the factors in that last series. So, once you start coming out, you start getting a lot of eyes. That's what allows other teammates to shine. We'll see if Overlook can have someone come in here and try to find themselves with the equalizer. J-Box almost, but no cigar there. Will allow for Godspeed just to try to have a quick retaliation, but no more boost there for Echo. And that's just kind of been it. The economy there in the boost department, it's been dwindling thin. It's been a commodity. And Godspeed right now, off a quick demo, have to get on back and defend.
They actually defended well. I feel like Godspeed, if they got a better handle under that ball, that could have been a fast breakaway. But there's a breakaway that you want. A great tap by Overlook to ensure the ball doesn't go in. But another chance by Echo. Good bump out. Rigorous sends it to the corner. But it's that crossbar yet again. Wolfie, how many times has it been? I've lost count. But we're down to a minute, and Godspeed are looking better and better for this game.
Oh, man, if this was a real pitch, I would have thrown the crossbars into the trash, bought a new one. Says, all right, well, we need something else. There's some juju here, some voodoo someone put onto this crossbar that's not allowing us to be able to get through. The lid's still on it, but Echo with the long clear puts it right back there for J-Box. Won't be able to get the boost, giving it to a teammate as a good 50, putting a lot of pressure on here.
I mean, this pace of play, though, Fincy's still looking for one more. They feel like they have it in the bag, but you can never breathe easy with a 1-goal lead. 30 seconds left. Overlook chasing as well. J-Box is trying to drive that ball away from their net. Godspeed, see the finish line in their eyes.
Yeah, and you saw, I think if Rigorous had a little bit more boost, may have been able to take more advantage of that open net. Unfortunately for him, not much, but says, give me another chance. I'm going to roar with the best of them. In the midst of chaos, Rigorous comes up with a flawless goal here.
Great pinch as well. A nosedive in to ensure it bounces high over the defender. Godspeed now bringing a much bigger sigh of relief as they clear the ball once more.
With 10 seconds remaining, is there enough time for two? Godspeed just going to be playing keep away for the last couple of seconds. Day 4 currently in the wings. Need this one to hit all zeros as Godspeed. They did their job, took some time, and Orbital, I will say, you got the prediction right. You called 3-1 in the last series. I think your prediction was looking into the future. You had the crystal ball there, but what a job here for Godspeed.
Yeah, they definitely pulled back much better in this game, and I don't want to say that they're slow starters. I know that they had a DQ win in the earlier stages, which definitely puts you on ice for a while. However, this one, it ramped up a little bit faster, and this is what I appreciate. When you looked at Overlooked, you knew they played hard. They lost out in the earlier match, but they did win against Goblin Barrel. You needed to come out with some sort of assurance, and Overlooked, they didn't play fast. They didn't play aggressive at the start, which I think was their downfall as well. It allowed Godspeed to get into their rhythm. We saw Echo, Fincy, and Rigorous start to pick up pace by that game too.
And, that's what it takes, and that's kind of the unfortunate. People will see that loss and be like, oh, okay, what happened to Godspeed? This team didn't even get a chance to really get their footing under them, where Sailing Esports just came hot off a 5-game series against Kanoko Soup, who pushed them to the brink. So this team already had to elevate themselves to a certain level where Godspeed were just trying to get themselves right there. So a bit unfortunate how the day went for them. But I think they're saying, top 8, we can't be mad about that. Yes, it's not their uppers, but we're into tomorrow. We still got a chance, boys.
Yeah, I don't think you're upset at all. I think you take Sailing Esports loss into a comfortable mindset of how do we improve, right? You can take a lot of that because you don't run into that aggressive playstyle very often. Take it to heart. Say, okay, let's figure this out. How do we beat this over-aggressive style? Do we just shift the spotlight to a different player? How do we deal with this? I think it was a really good learning moment after having such a clean Swiss stage, reminding them that there are those of equal caliber in this tournament. It's not a loss for loss's sake. It's a loss to improve going into the hybrid elimination.
Exactly. There's always something to look at as a positive. Even when you fail, you say, what did they do? Where were we lacking? What weren't we ready for? But tomorrow, they're going to feel ready. They're going to feel prepared. But when does that happen, ladies and gentlemen? Same time as always. We'll find out. Make sure to go to our socials, Godspeed ES on X, on Instagram. Go see there what time we will be playing and who will we be playing. But you know, the one thing, we still have our own stream, but there is a main stream. Well, big shout out to Gex, big shout out to 1NE for being able to put this on for the region, has been a part of the region for God knows when, before even I got back in here in 2021. So, you know, heck of a job for them on that department. But, you know, we're done here. You have a couple more hours of sleep here, I'm hoping, Orbital, before I'm not even going to bring it up anymore where you're having to go. But, you know, for Godspeed, heck of a job. Great win tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and hopefully we get to see a little bit more of them tomorrow. You know, I think it's the same time, same place, so I'll be very excited to see what they practiced over the next 24 hours.
Well, 24 hours of what we're going to have to wait, ladies and gentlemen. You want to go see the highlights, you can watch the VOD or wait for the clips to be released at the end of the day, or technically it's morning for us, late for them. But you know, we're done here. Big shout out to Rohan on the back end for putting everything on for the production, making us look good here on stream. But no more Rocket League. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Make sure to smash the heart button. Leave a follow. We're going every single day. We need your help to continue doing it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back tomorrow with some more action. See you all later.
Sure.